you pathetic pair of pitiful pinheads! You overgrown alley cat! You flea-bitten fur brain!
When you're faced with a problem, just ask yourself, what would Skeletor do? Skeletor can teach us a lot about friends, about family, about relationships, about your first job, and about how to channel your frustrations into shaking your fists to the heavens.
You blundering fool!
My name is Robb Pearlman, and I wrote the book, What Would Skeletor Do?
Well, 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 who do we have here?
Skeletor!
Skeletor? All right, Skeletor.
Skeletor is the master of evil and the chief rival of He-Man.
So, He-Man, we meet again!
They were the stars of a cartoon show from the 1980s.
And the masters of the universe.
When I was growing up, I loved the TV show. I watched it every day after school. It was based on a toy line from the 1980s.
Now I have the power.
He-Man and Skeletor each sold separately.
And the central premise was Skeletor, who was the master of evil, wanted to take over this gigantic castle Grayskull. And the forces of good, including and especially He-Man, were keeping him from doing that.
He's He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Skeletor is his enemy.
And at the end of each episode had a little tag where characters would come back and say what they learned from the episode.
In today's story, He-Man used something even more powerful than his muscles to beat Skeletor. You know what it was? If you said his brain, you were right.
And then I realized, well, why didn't Skeletor ever get a tag at the end of it? So I thought, this is Skeletor's time.
I waited a long time for this.
He has something to say if you want to actually listen to what it is, because everyone can learn something from Skeletor.
Morons!
The biggest thing Skeletor can teach us is what not to do, but I try to turn that around and say the tiny little nuggets of wisdom that he could give us.
Of course, you worthless hunk of fur! Books are the real treasures of the world!
Skeletor is not a good guy by any stretch of the imagination.
Listen, I am not nice, I am not kind, and I am not wonderful.
But as evil as he is, you have to admire his tenacity and his stick-to-itiveness. Every episode, he just keeps trying and trying and trying.
Who will stop me? Not you!
How about me, Skeletor?
As much as Skeletor wants world domination, he doesn't necessarily like getting his hands dirty. So he definitely surrounds himself with lackeys and yes-men who try to do a lot of the dirty work. Sometimes he realizes that the only way to get things done is to do it yourself.
Witless fools, do I have to do everything for you?
But because he is evil, he never wins, so he doesn't necessarily succeed.
He-Man will not spoil my plans this time.
Skeletor hangs with what he would call a band of nincompoops. His two chief henchmen are Evil-lyn, who is a witch,
You blundering skullface!
and Beastman, who's this big hairy gorilla-like thing.
It's Castle Grayskull. And it's mine. Not so fast, Beastman. He-Man!
They keep trying to please him. He is never pleased.
Why do I surround myself with fools? Even the robots are smarter than you.
The one thing people should take away from What Would Skeletor Do is don't do what Skeletor would do. That being said, you have to admire him for his tenacity and determination to get what he wants. He is, pardon the pun, not two-faced about anything. He is very clear and very honest.
You're not known for doing favors. What's the catch?
A little demand, He-Man.
Even when he's sort of sneaking around and skulking about and playing tricks on people, he knows what he wants. He's clear about it. You know exactly what his motivations are. And I think, we can learn to sort of follow your dreams like Skeletor does.
And don't let me see your mangy hide around here again.